We want to block it. Got it. All right.
Thank
There
you
we
very much.
go. He got it. He's on record. I'm on record. And this can be on our website, members. If you look in, if you missed the meeting, all the entire meeting is on our website each week. Also, in an amended version of our chat is also on the website. Now, amended. I said amended because we're going to ask you if you'd like to be on our contact list. We don't have a membership list. Somebody emailed the other day, I need the phone number such and such from this guy, that guy. I can't do that for you. You have to go get the contact list off our website. It's a system that we developed to eliminate the bot problems, and we have to stick with it. Now, if I had his email address, I would email him and tell him to contact you. But here, let's go back to talking about the contact list. We don't have a membership list. We don't have a membership rule. We don't have anything that would say who you are or where you go or anything else. We have a contact list that's completely voluntary. And if you sign up for that voluntary contact list, you will get placed on it, and Dave Rose, our webmaster, will automatically send you the contact list if you follow the rules. Right? You have to follow rules, and the information's all on our website. There's a little place to do it. The subject is going to be Captain, capital CAPTAIN. That's the accent. That'll get you to fill it out exactly like it says. Unclick the box, put the exact verbiage in it. If you off a little bit, it's not going to go anywhere. And it's going to tell you it's not going to go anywhere. But we want to share the information, and we want to get folks involved. So if you want to be involved, put it in chat. Well, I walked away from that for a while. Put it in our chat. David will take it out of our chat and place it on the contact list, and then edit the chat to remove that information. The only way you can get this is if you ask for it, and it's not a live list. And we're trying to keep the email bot down. And I'm doing pretty good. I've eliminated about half of the bot I get in the last couple of weeks. But why do I have to go through that problem and that trouble if we can solve it in another way? And I probably get 100 emails a day. So, and that's not exaggeration. I get folks to email me about everything. I get photographs. We have a nice gallery tonight. David, I have green sleeves for music on it. Can we use green sleeves?
I think we can, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to send you another edited version. I'm going to take the music out and I'll send it by email so you'll have it.
Depends on who did it.
What's that?
Well, I mean, green sleeves itself is not proprietary. I mean, it's what, 400, 500 years old. But if you take somebody's version of green sleeves and that's copyrighted, then, like if, Lorena McKennett's or whoever else does green sleeves, it all depends on who did it. That's whether or not the copyright is owned or not.
That's true.
Yeah, and I'm using.
But I think we've used green sleeves before, and if we use the same one, I think we're.
Works for me.
I'm using a version by Kenny G because I got it on CD.
We'll see. We'll find out.
I go to those free music things on the internet, but I don't know why it just doesn't. It doesn't. It's not crisp. So better if I hum in the background. I'll find something one day that we can use. And folks, if you have an idea of what it could be, let me know. Let me know where to get it. If I can get some royalty-free music, we use it under our gallery, which we post each week. We'll do that after the Ronnie conversation tonight. Always looking for stuff for the website. Dave Rhodes is our webmaster. And Dave, I tell you what, you are building one heck of a website for us. It's amazing of what's on there. I had a call from somebody today that asked me how what we can do and how we can get here, get there. And I told them about going to the website. And well, my computer's really slow tonight. Do this, see what happens. There we are. He asked me how we do this, how we do that. And while we were on the telephone, he went to worldwidewoodturners.org on his computer, and he got exactly what I was telling him. The clock, the button, how to do it. And then he got to looking at all the demonstrations. And he came up with a point. He says, why would I tune in? Everything you do is on tape. And I said, well, it's on the computer, but, you know, join us. It's like sitting on the tailgate talking about wood turning, that's all. And that's, you know, he'll be with us this evening, I believe. But the website handles almost everything. And it's I look at what some other organizations put out, and it's either pay-per-view or membership required. We don't have a membership requirement. And if you say you have to qualify to put something on there, are you a member? That's all it is. Are you a member? I know Matt Harper's got some pieces on there.
Yeah, just one or two.
Yeah, a few of the other folks that's in right now, they all have pieces in there. It's a way to go. If you got something that's unique, time saver, elimination of buying tools. You know, if you can make your own tools. We saw it. The tool Doug Rowe did last week, a beading tool that he converted an old scraper into a beading tool. And I was telling the wife yesterday that when I was outside and I had a machine shop in my shop, I could have easily made that scraper into the beading tool. Easily. It's one or two steps. I can't do the type of exact milling right now, but I'll get to it. I like the idea. The size of the hole you drill in the scraper determines the size of the bead you put on. And he cut his with an overlock and overlock. What you mean is his thing didn't go across the top. It went down a little bit. That's overlock. He cut his with overlock and an open gap on the bottom, so he could go in and do a 3 ring. Or what do you call that? No ring. He did it out of resin and candy, and it was very
captured ring.
A captured ring. That's it. Thank you. He did a captured ring with it. And somebody mentioned, would you have the outside curve? Last week's demonstration by Doug Rowe was very impromptu. Our scheduled demonstrator couldn't perform, couldn't work with us. We started without somebody checking it out. Dane Chandler normally finds us demonstrators. And we didn't have a backup in place. We got to talking to Doug Rowe, and Brenda put the arm around his neck. Brenda said, oh yeah, Doug, you got a thing in the shop you can turn? Now, he's a braggadocious Army guy, or ex-Army guy maybe. He jumped in right away. Had a piece of material, a unique way he cast resin with candy. Was it candy hearts?
Yep.
Valentine candy hearts.
That's it, yeah. From the dollar store. That's the beauty of it. Cast it with acrylic, let it cure for a while, and then he turned that. He did a mug, which he said he was going to give to his mom for Mother's Day. but it's really unique. Looked at it. I wanted to talk to Doug about. We all talked about it. I think Matt brought it up about the heat and put into the piece when you trim it or cut it, and when you're doing the neck or the stem. He said he was getting some movement, and I got to thinking about it. I got to talk to him about it. I would do a steady rest, but I would do a negative steady rest. I wouldn't push. I would put it on and pull it back so that I wouldn't be compressing the material when it got warm. It's an idea on how to turn that. I've done steady rest, a loaded one or a negative, a while back for a really thin goblet. Wife wanted a little goblet, and she saw one in a catalog someplace, and I said, "Well, that's a thin neck. Thing's gonna snap like that." It was glass. So I thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. I got to reading the piece about it. It wasn't glass; it was acrylic, and there was a wire inside. But mine came out thin because I learned from Ellie Avasara that steady rest is not to keep it from moving here; it's to keep it from compressing. So if you do one that puts a negative tension on it, and it's done with strings, so you don't burn the material up too bad, and it's on your revolving center, which when you put it into the piece, you put a piece of paper and you whack the heck out of it and make it hold. Then when you pull on it, you take that wobble out. If you do a really thin stem, 2-3 inches long, I'm talking thin, you're doing a 1/4 inch stem, 3 inches long on a goblet, something's got to move. That's the law about wood. Something's got to move. And if you're compressing to stabilize it, you're going to cause that bounce. If you pull on it, you won't get that bounce. You get some vibration from your cuts. And that's where Mark Soleil says you make those slicing cuts. And
yep. Yeah, it's when you have the compression, it also makes the wood bow. So you get the wood starts to bow when it gets thin.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the vibration, and you'll shatter your piece. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you want the outward tension on a thin stem piece. And I discovered the hard way you also want it when you're doing offset turning. So. Yep.
Yeah.
Can you do a demo on that, Matt?
I think I have done, but I'm sure I can. One of the things, when we had the discussion a couple weeks back, one of the things I showed was my own version of the string steady rest, which is basically just a piece of plywood that fits on the bed of my lathe, and uses a string dipped in beeswax to hold the piece. I suppose I could probably want to do a demonstration on that. Sure.
I'm in it.
Yeah, but whenever you get less than less than half an inch thin on your goblet stem, the bowl's going to vibrate. So that's one of the reasons why you have the string, whether or not it's mounted in your tailstock, your live center, like Eddie was talking about, or if you've got it on the lathe bed and you're holding the piece, you want to keep the goblet bowl on the end from wobbling around, and you want to keep the string or the stem as it gets thinner in the middle from bowing under the compression. If you push on it, that's going to bow. You know what I mean? So. Here, yep. So yeah, I'm sure I can do a demo on that.
I not hear you. Yeah, no. That's what we do.
Brenda, did you get that? He's going to do a demo.
Yeah.
Write it down. Don't let him get away. But
on the string, right?
On
On the string steady, yes, the string steady rest. Were you in here when we were talking about those? I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, Brenda.
I think so, but I can't really remember it.
All right. Well, I will. I'll go find, because I built mine based on a YouTube video. So I'll go find that video and pop the link in chat so that everybody has that, and then I can show how I use it and so on. I mean, mine's kind of crude. So before I knew what I was doing, making jigs for the shop. So.
I've got one around here that's made for holding finials.
Yeah, yours goes in the live center, right, Eddie?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, mine's down in my shop, so it
doesn't go in the live center. It goes in the tailstock, and that's why I can't find it, because it doesn't fit this length. I have to make an adapter. This is an MT3 on the tailstock, and I have it on an MT2 from my old wood art, like wood, whatever plate. And that one, the tailstock had a lock screw, the quill. So you put something in, you turn a lock screw, and you pull, it wouldn't pop back out. It was made for their components to go in, because theirs had a shoulder on it. Mine, I just put a piece of paper down and whack the heck out of it and stick. It'll come off real easy because it's paper. But they're very. I'm looking around because I had it to use for a demo. They're easy to make, but if you do one that rises from the bed, that's as easy to make. And it's a C cut in a piece of plywood, 4 nails or 3 nails, whatever you choose to do for stabilizing. You clamp it down to your waist, or make a follower for it, and it's easy to slip in after you started the piece. Slip it in, make it, do the string on it before your piece starts moving. Remember, it's to keep the piece from moving. It's a steady, and if you're doing a finial and you've always had a problem with them popping, you might be doing a couple of things. Number one, don't push the thinness. Don't push the thinness. All right. Your steadies, your finials here, and you're turning it. When you get to here and you want to start necking it down, neck it down in stages. Don't sweep all the way through and then come back and reduce it and then reduce it and reduce it. It doesn't like that. And some of the best finial turners I've ever seen. And people in this club doing demos, step in, step. So if you step in about an inch and a half, and you're getting a little wobble, that's when you put the steady rest on, and that'll show that. You put the steady rest on here, and then when you turn the rest of it, the energy you impart going in here doesn't push the piece or load the piece to flex. I had, when I was in rehab, my wife had a new fence put around the yard. I think they wanted to keep me in. But the guys building the gates put the 2x4 angle bracing under compression. They went not from the hinge to the bottom center. They went from the top center down to the hinge. And it might look like that'll work, except you put lumber under pressure. And in just about 6 to 8 months, that thing bowed in, bowed out, and the gate sagged. I didn't get those sets of gates open for 5 years. I wasn't strong enough and they put them right hard on the ground. So they dug a hole. Hurricane Ida loosened that up. They're leaning against the house waiting to get put back up. And not going back up like they were. Matt Harper just put a link to HiltonHandcraft.com, an article there about a string steady, and that's a place where you can get information on what he's talking about. You have to see it in use. You really do.
Yeah, that's the bed mounted one. I built mine based on that document there. So yeah, and it's so, and there's, I'll try and find one like the one you were showing, Eddie, where you put it in the tailstock, because I saw that out there too. There might be a YouTube video on that.
I got it from Ellie Avocera when I was at Aramont.
Okay, yeah, I mean it's a standard. I mean, there's a lot of people who've made those. So, and I've seen really big ones like the one you have, you know, to hold big vases, which is just kind of crazy, but if it works, right?
Yeah, you don't have to be in tension with it or apply tension. You're steadying it. And if you are turning things that have any length to them, and while you're turning, feel the harmonics that's being generated by slicing. Now, if you get coarse and you're going with a gouge, like a regular gouge, and you're removing a whole lot of wood, you get a lot more vibration to it. And wood only handles so much of that, and then it stops. It just won't do it. So the steady takes that vibration out, which really stops it from crashing so bad. I know how it is to turn a piece, be shaping it up, and all of a sudden you're not shaping it, it left. Because when it starts moving, your cut changes. And if you're not really great with Mark Soleil's slicing, and I call it Mark Soleil slicing, so a lot of folks teach you how to turn slicing. Mark Soleil only teaches you how to turn wood with slicing. He's very good. He'll resharpen tools and fingernail grind gouges to let you walk in there and get it done. I'm pretty good at it before I went to see Mark. And my buddy Ronnie went there too. And if they're doing a demonstration with Mark Soleil, Ronnie will be there. Because you always come back with something. Always. We've had him here do demos, and that's a nice part to do. Oh, I got to mention that we're collecting pens for the 22 pens project. That was thrown out to us. It was a challenge to the club because it's not a happy situation. Every single day, 22 veterans take their own life because of stress, PTSD, whatever. It's bad that we can category and say this many people of a certain kind or quality or whatever take their own life, but that's every single day. So we're turning pens to help them out. And it'll go to the centers where they go for care and treatment and rehab, etc. And that's a project going on, and where you send it to is on our email, our website. But turn your 22 pens. I have a photograph in a gallery tonight that Ron Radcliffe did. He turned his pens, and there's some laser engraving on them. They're beautiful. And since Ron was in the United States Air Force, he retired from the Air Force, retired a long time ago. He thought it'd be a nice thing to contribute to. In fact, at about 6:45 tonight, we're going to talk to Ronnie about a project he undertook when his grandson started basic training with the Marine Corps. He took a bunch of pens there and shared those pens with folks. And if you want to do freedom pens and you don't want to give them to the Army or a Vets Association or anything else, you can contact. We have Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Space Guard, Space Force. We have all those contacts on our website. So you can pick the one you want the pens to go to, send it to them, and they handle it completely. You're out of the picture. But I'm going to ask you something. When you do send a pen, and that's part of my 22 pens, I still want to laser engrave some things on it. When you send a pen, add a business card or a note. And you can put it in a Ziploc bag. Don't put it in a pen case. It takes up too much room. Put it in a Ziploc bag. Put your pen and put a business card in there, or a thank you note, or whatever, because we want that troop who receives it to know which American did this for him. You get thank you notes, you'll get messages, phone calls, all kinds of stuff. It's one of those things. It kind of makes you feel good when somebody who's working hard to serve our country, protect our freedom, gets a special gift from home, not from USO, not from some. This comes from you, a citizen, and we like to collect them. And oh yeah, even though Sergeant Doug Rowe is departing from the United States Army, retiring, I don't think they threw him out. Doug handled our Army contact. He's going to continue with that Army contact. He knows all the right people, and he can handle getting the pens into the troops' hands. And that's an important part of what we do. We make sure they get to their hands. They don't stop wayside. They don't get boxed someplace for a special event. Every day with them is a special event. That's why we support the program. Who's turning left this week? Come on, jump in. I'm here waiting for you.
I should mention I just put, pardon me, Matt Harbor's demo about the study rest in the chat.
Okay, great. That's a contact you can go to see it work and how to.
Well, it didn't quite show it working. I just showed you how just showed you mine. So, I guess I'm still on the hook for the demo, huh? But thanks, Dave.
Ask Brenda. Brenda's in charge of it. Brenda, what'd you do? You put the hook on him? She's trying to work out some technical difficulties with her iPad tonight.
Okay.
So
yeah, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
All right. We're going to fit gallery in if we have a little problem with Brenda. I think Doug Miller's in there. Doug will help us also.
Yeah, actually, Doug, I just sent Doug a message and asked him if he would do gallery because I'm about to have a fit.
Don't
No
go
problem. No problem.
Good morning.
Hey,
Doug,
Donald.
Doug, you're in right now, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. I have to find. Yeah,
I can go ahead and show a piece that I got this week.
Well, go ahead, man. Talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here I am. Oh, let's see. If I find myself, maybe I can. There we go. I got it.
Okay.
There we go. You may have seen it on Facebook or Instagram. I did a black limba piece this week. That section right there reminds me a lot of black walnut. But then you come right around here, and it's just a beautiful light colored grain. This was one of 4 blanks that I purchased, 4x2, already cut in a circle, 2 inches thick. It's not very big, but yet it there we go. I get it where you can see in the side. My plan is to make 5 different turn pieces, all from 4x2 blanks. See how different they can be, yet how similar they are.
It's not. You'd be amazed at the detail that you can change with a piece. Just get out the box.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I did the first one as a simple bowl on purpose. In the video on YouTube, I asked people to go ahead in the comments, give me a suggestion on what else to turn with it. I've gotten a ring box and a box so far. So some kind of a box is in the future with this stuff. So this is an African wood. It's considered a hardwood, but it's relatively soft, easy to turn. Sands beautifully. As you can see, it sands up really nice. I didn't spend much time sanding.
Well, I see the
Then
Chatoyan.
use what's that?
I saw the Chatoyan. It flashes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
There
it
it
flashes right there,
Yep.
and it's on both sides, just clear as it can be. But anyway, it works out real nice.
Good. All right.
Pretty.
I've done that. I've created a series in the past, um, and it's fun to display them because folks will ask you, what's that material you use? Why does it look like that? And why don't did you do a special lead edge or anything else? Yeah, I let the wood talk to me when I was cutting it. That's all. Just let the wood talk to me. Beautiful work.
Thank you.
So Doug Miller's going to be handling our gallery tonight, and if you want to show something, put it in the chat, and Doug will call you when Doug. Here's the deal. If Doug says, hi, I'm going to go to download to see what he's turned and what he's got to show, Donald's got to start talking because we won't find him in a gang. When you start talking, Doug can find you, click on you, we spotlight you, look at your piece. Anything goes, really. If you got a beautiful piece, if you have a piece you had a problem with, if you have a piece the shape didn't come out, or and you want to talk about it, you can talk about it. We have a no but guarantee. Our no but guarantee is real simple. We can look at it, and we'll see it, we'll appreciate it, and we'll absorb what you tell us. But we have a policy is I can't say, I like that piece, but you see that butt? The butt wasn't supposed to be there. I like that piece. That's where you're supposed to stop. Design is here, in your head, all the time. You can't be taught it. You can't have it refined. If you go art school or whatever, they're talking about phi and measurements. I got a phi gauge right here. See that? What is that? This is 1, and this is 1.618 from this pivot point to the jaws. So, and this is a little bit oversized. So I've put it down on something to see if the size is relative to phi. Look, see that? I put it in there with a laser engraver. Nice. Want to see the size? That's one of the systems to do it. I have another one down here. I got one from a guy that does a lot of laser work. This is the same thing. This is 1, and this is 1.6, 1.618, 337, whatever. But if you want to see where to break a bowl or a lid on a box, bottom, center, top, that's proportionate to phi. And it's more pleasing to your eye than just guessing at it. Let's go back to Roman times. Yeah, and we have Ronnie here. Ronnie lived in Roman times. We'll go back to Roman times, and you'll see that the columns, the friezes, the heights and widths of buildings all relate to phi. It was pleasing to the eye. I have one here, perfect example. I just moved it. A business card. Look at the size of the business card, how it coordinates. 8.5 by 11 paper. There's a whole lot of things we use every day that relates back to phi. I remember seeing a feature from a car designer in Chevrolet, and he was talking about the placement of the doorpost on a car. And this was 60 years ago, talking about the door placement. And he mentioned phi. Now, I'm 12 years old, and I'm in school watching it. I'm thinking pi, 1.2, 3.14159265357. That's what he was talking about. He's talking about phi, and that's a relative comparison for height to a break, to length to a break, etc., etc. The height versus the width. All can be controlled or guided by a simple phi formula. We're going to develop here it is. I have a pattern for a laser cutter to cut out a phi caliper, a really nice one. And I sent it to Billy Dillard. But if y'all hadn't caught on, Billy's been under the weather, had a blood problem, an infection, a couple of days in the hospital, doing well, well enough, and hope he stays well. Bill now got that template. We asked Billy if he could check the template, see if it fits, if it's a DXF or one of those other files that will read into your O-Tour or your. I have a laser engraver right here. Can't remember the name of it. I got the little $200 kit. But it'll read that pattern if I put it in through laser burn. I can read it. Laser burn will let me adjust the size of it. I don't want to change the sets. It'll let me create a small one or a large one. I can cut it out with the laser, or I can just inscribe it on a piece of plywood.
Eddie, are you going to give that to Dave so we can put it on the website?
I don't know if he can do it today. Billy's been out. But you can draw it on a piece of, this is 3mm plywood, and then cut it out with your scroll saw or whatever. But with my, hey, what's the name of this thing? Niji Master 2S. I can slice through this 3mm. I can do it one pass with a burn on it. If I do it in 3 or 4 passes, it just means another minute and a half. It'll slice it right out. I've been doing puzzles, plate pieces, all kinds of stuff. Ronnie got me into cutting puzzles out. And the other day he sent me a program that's a sample piece to get the sizes checked out for curve and all. And I burned through this, through my safety piece, and onto my stainless steel lift. Because I hadn't done slicing before and didn't follow it. And Louisiana hobby guy, Rich, he's been with us before. He's got so many how-to YouTubes. If you have a laser, or you're getting a laser for working around your shop, like Ron Radcliffe's got one. He's using our pens right now. And I made a pen jig for mine, rotating pen jig, to hold my Kittler's ink pens, because they have about a 3/16 or 9/64 drill hole through them. So I made a mandrel. I can slip it on, put a little piece of toilet paper on its rolls, slip it on, and it rotates perfectly, so I can put words all the way around it, or a scroll all the way around it. But I put God Bless America, Freedom Counts, etc., on these pens with the laser engraver. And we've been talking about that a lot in the club. And a lot of guys have gone to it, a lot of turners, pardon me, are going to it. And if we can get some sharing ideas, patterns, jigs, rigs, whatever that you've created or used, found, we'd like to know about it so we can share it with turners that are getting into that. And I say what you found because you go to some of these websites that have this, there's something like NMC is Nancy McIntyre. She's really great at Niji. Not at outside software for Niji. She's good with Niji and Niji's inside software, which is all pretty good. But
mention that on the website there is currently a template for the golden mean caliper. Someone else just put in the chat one from Thingiverse, And certainly if Billy provides me a copy, I'll put that one up too. The one that's currently on the website will work on the CNC machine. So I'm assuming that it would also work on the laser engraver. Definitely the one for the Thingiverse works on the laser engraver.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different designs for similar calipers on Thingiverse, and they're usually like DXF files or something, which a lot of the laser programs will take as input also. It's the same file format, I believe, that you can use with a CNC machine. They all use the same sort of templates.
Also, if you go to the page that I put in on the chat for worldwide wood turners, 3 templates, different templates for different things available, things that we've done over the last several months, and I've accumulated them on one page.
You know, I've been shopping around. I don't want to change anything. I want to see what other clubs and organizations are putting out there, and we have a pretty good mix of items on our website. A pretty good mix. The demonstrations, tips, hints, ideas, and I said tips and hints. It's called tips and tricks. We try to post one of those each week. I've just been really busy with the program my wife's got me in right now. And I'm going to tell you straight. I go work out for an hour in a pool. I need 2 hours of rest. It kicks my butt. I mean, just really. But weight loss, size loss, I can walk without a cane. It's all paying back. It's just I wish I'd started this 8 years ago when the tumor hit. But I'm bouncing back, beating the odds. But I'm too tired to come in and work on some of this stuff. I wanted to do a couple of tips and tricks. In fact, there's one on a machine right back here that I'm going to do a video on about holding a piece with double stick tape. I hope to get that done the next day or so. You see this blue tube right here? That is a pool noodle from the dollar store, and it was $1. It's 4 foot long. I put that on the key for my chuck. That's my chuck key. That's the tip of my chuck key right here. And back there's the handle. And it's so, when I put it in my chuck back here and I'm working and I get sidetracked, and we all do, that big blue thing standing up is going to remind me to take it out of my chuck. And if I drop it on the floor, I find it easier. Yeah, I got shavings on the floor. But that was a nifty idea. Let's push it a little bit further. I'm going to a demonstration with Mark Soleil, and I'm going to bring my skew, my fingernail gouge, my Ellsworth gouge, maybe a scraper. I'm going to put some tools in a bag to take them over there. Take those tools out of your shop, put them in a bag, put them in the back of your car, and tell me if they leave the bag or if they just try to escape through the side of it. They do, because they're sharp tools. So you see that pool noodle right there? If you cut that pool noodle to the right length, it'll slip right over your tool. It'll swell up on the end to hold on. Even if it doesn't, it's on there and it won't slip off in the bag. It'll protect your tool. Number one, it won't go through the hole of your bag or the seat in your car. And number two, it'll stay sharp. Really, because it's what? Piece of pool noodle. We got it at Dollar General. We were driving by and I saw a whole basket full of them out. And I thought, well, I got to go to the pool every day. And a few minutes later, it hit me as, I'm never going to take that to the pool. My wife went and got me a couple of them. Buck a piece, can't beat it. And it's another trick and tip, or tips and tricks. And you're supposed to share that kind of stuff. We get them every week. Guys on impromptu say, oh, let me show you what I came up with. Let me show you what I can do. Let's see how we can save this or save that. And that's what we're out to do. Your tip, your trick can often save a lot of problems and troubles, and it might be something to make it a little bit safer when you're turning wood. A little bit. And that's what counts. See, I have a remote contact for my lathe. That's a remote starter right back there. No variable speed on it, but I know how to put one in now. My main controller is down on the other end. It swings in and out. But this one's right there where if something goes wrong, I can step out of the line of fire, punch it, and my lathe will stop. But remember the first part there. I'm going to step out of the line of fire. Do I really always need to be in a line of fire? No. It depends on my style when I'm turning. Let's get out of the line of fire, reach past it, and not get those catches that launch the material across the room. Because normally it bounces off your head to get across the room. So if you can share a detail or a note or whatever, pardon me, not the hiccups. Let's talk about it. In a few moments, we're going to join somebody with the Marine Corps, a volunteer organization in the Marine Corps, and Ronnie has set this up. Ronnie Panay has set this up for us. Ronnie was a co-founder of this operation. When I came back from SWAT 3 years ago or so, I went by Ronnie's house and sat down with him out on a patio and said, Ronnie, you have a question about wood turning? Yeah. Good. Why don't we find a club where you can ask that question anytime you want? No restrictions. He's okay, what's this going to cost? It's free. Bottom line, it's free. Everybody in the entire world can be a club member. There are no requirements, no restrictions, no way we can object to your membership. We're on Zoom. You can be with us. So when I talked to Ronnie about it, he jumped on board. He helped me pick a dozen turners from around the world that we both knew. We may have met him at SWAT the year before. We just got together and with him, we asked him, said, what do you think about this idea? Only one of the 12 said, that's not going to work. How are you going to fund it? Immediately went to the dollar thought. You want to see our financial report? We offer it every week. There it is. It came and went that fast. There's no finances. I've been asked, can we sell shirts or business cards or coasters or bumper stickers? We tried the bumper sticker thing for a while. Had to get away from that. Because when you do it, there's got to be a mark to cover handling and postage. Who gets the mark? So we kind of refined it down to where we don't sell anything. We don't have any way for you to buy anything. If somebody wants to do worldwidewoodturners.org patch on t-shirts or whatever, and you want to handle distribution, that's you. And if you like to do it, do it. We're going to have no business connection with you at all. Same thing goes with decals and all that. See that Megan Shavings decal? That came from a member years ago. Look, the lathe is still yellow around it because it didn't get the paint job. Guy called and said, I can make you some decals. Fine, make them. I traded them, cutters, for decals. And we had another fellow last year do the same thing. And I see one on Dane Chandler's lathe. And he took the .com off and made it worldwidewoodturners. Because we're not .com, we're .org. Thanks to some of our members worked it out for us. I think only one member worked it out. I think it was Dave Rhodes, our master webmaster. Worked it out. And we have a pretty good site. And I've heard some folks say, why aren't you .com? There's like 25 or 30 somethings that you can use. We figured .org is easy to remember and get to. And you can go there. There's a contact. You can send information to be posted, like photographs. And we do a gallery. And we do it this week. In a little while after this conversation with the Marines, we're going to show you this week's gallery. These are the photographs that you, our membership, have emailed to us at worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. Get this. It's worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. You send us a photograph of your work. But I'm greedy. I don't want just one photograph. I don't want just one view. I want to see that piece from 2 or 3 angles. I want to see, if you can, I want to see how you held it on your lathe, how you chucked it, how you sanded it, how you finished it. Whatever you have photographs of, I'd like to have them. Why? We put all that in our gallery. And I'll send all that gallery stuff to David Rose for our website. Also use it for our newsletter each month. And a newsletter essentially has become a photo newsletter. I don't get a lot of input from membership articles. We're probably going to pop up some with the FI stuff if we can, and the study rest information, so you have it, see it, maybe understand a little bit better when you're reading it in front of you. But that's what we do with the photographs. If you have them, again, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. It's our club website, our club mailing address. There's also a contact page on our website. You can send things to David right there, direct. We have Joe Lesko saying he's got a question on a very, very grinded jig. Joe, are you out there? Can we talk to you? Joe? I know he's not there here, but he's got to speak with us so I can find him. I'm not lying. We're not muting anybody, folks.
He's muted.
There he is. No, that's Ron. That sounded. There's Joe. Talk to us, Joe. Joe, you muted or?
Yes, he's muted.
All right, unmute yourself, Joe. Press the space bar. Let's try that. We're going to get Joe in here and chat a little bit. He's got a question on his variant line. What angle settings do you use for various projects or gouges? Spindle detail gouges, button, Ellsworth, etc., etc. What angles do you use? Joe, we got you connected yet?
He's having technical difficulties, Eddie.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
We
we
got
can.
There
you,
you go.
Joe.
Can you hear me? Great. Basically, I'm confused on what angle you set the very grind jig at for different types of gouges. I usually go for about the second indent for most everything, but they got 5 on there for 5 different settings on there for a reason. I'm just wondering, hey, what's the best one to use? You talk to 5 people and you get 6 different answers. So
That is the correct answer, Joe.
Yeah.
Basically, you use the ones that work best for you.
Okay.
What I do is I take a Sharpie, and on my, like, when I got the grind I want, like say my deep fluted bowl gouge,
Mhm.
I write the angles. I've got everything numbered on my jig. Okay.
Yeah.
So I write the angle, I write the setting I've got on the handle of my tool. So
Okay,
when I go back,
okay.
what's that?
Okay, I read mine on the ferrule, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, wherever. I mean, you want to write it somewhere where you won't wear it off with your hands when you're using
Right.
it. What I do is if I've got any confusion about it, before I turn the grinder on, is I get the tool in close, and then
Right.
I make sure that the tool bevel is flush on the wheel before I turn it on. Okay, and then
Right.
I know that I've got the right angle, and I just take a little bit of
Oh yeah.
so.
But you
I
can
write
do
it down.
that. You can do that with basically any of the 5 settings on the very grind just by moving that arm in
Yeah.
and out.
Yeah, and
So-
I use the same setting on my large deep fluted bowl gouge that I use on my small deep fluted bowl gouge.
Okay.
And then which is about 55 degrees. And I use the true grind, but it works the same way.
Okay.
And then
All right.
for my other gouges, like for my detail gouge, I use a different setting because it's a different angle on the bevel.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. So whatever works then. Okay. I thought there might be a rule of thumb out there.
Well, I mean, like you said it. Every turner has a different happy
Yeah.
zone for their gouges. So.
I know. I've been doing, yeah, I've been having my very grind for about 8 years and I've always wondered.
If you'd like a random set of
Okay,
suggestions,
I can make a
check
I
the
can make a
template
quick
page,
explanation of
and you'll see that Ray Lennox, sorry, Ray, has a suggestion. He sent something in, and it's on the template page of the website. I put the page address in the chat. If you want
All right.
to answer.
So it's in the chat tonight, Joe.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Dave.
sir.
I can
Danny?
do one more quick explanation about these things if you want.
Okay.
Who's talking?
Scott Hampton. Hello. So
I hear you, but I can't find you. Go ahead.
there I
There you
am.
are.
All right. So what this does, when you pull the V arm back and forth, that sets your bevel, okay? The bevel of your grind. Now when you set this back and forth, that's going to make, depending on the side grind you want, it's going to either curl it over further over, or it's going to be more straight up and down. The more you change that leg on the barrel
Okay.
grind, that's what it's for. So if you want to, most people, a lot of beginners, they like to have their grinds curled over the top a little bit more, the side grinds, because it's
Yeah.
less catchy that way.
Yeah.
But it's harder to do shear cuts with it that way.
Yeah. So
That's
basically,
what that leg does. The further down you have it, the more straight up and down that grind is on the top of your gouge.
okay.
Now, folks, we've heard a lot about 40/40 grinds. This thing right here, this gizmo, using that vari-grind jig on the straightest angle, and you take that to adjust the setting. Right, you have it in a vari-grind jig, and you want to move it in and out, and this touches the wheel,
Yeah.
grinding wheel, and this will set it up.
Yeah.
You can use that sweep gauge for a 40/40 grind.
Yeah.
This is by Ron Brown.
I've got that gauge at a gauge block and it's great.
Yeah. Ron's a
Eddie?
turn. Yes.
You and I spoke this week. We have 4 guests on tonight. We have the ladies from the Paris Island Marine Corps, the Paris Island Spouses Club. They call themselves the Private Peppers. And back when I was there in November and issued them those pins, and I gave a lot away, and they had a lot of pins to have on hand to give to future Marines. They wanted to come on and tell you some stories and to thank everyone that participated in making those pins. That was not me. I was just a carrier. So we have a lady. We have four ladies on tonight. We have Pam Truax, Marcella Jimenez, Samantha Page, and Cheryl Bradshaw. Pam is waiting to come on to tell you what she experienced with these pens. And before she comes on, when I spoke to her earlier this week, I said, great, I'm glad that you're here and you can tell us some stories. And I asked her how many pins she has left. And she told me she only has 3 pins left. So at that point, I said, well, we have to make a push to get you some more pins. And I spoke to Dave Rhodes this evening, and he's got it on the website that where you can send any pins that you're making. If you wanted to get into the hands of a Marine, the address is there. It's going to go directly to Paris Island. And these ladies that are part of the Paris Island Spouses Club will receive them, and they'll be issuing them out to the new Marines. So Pam, if you could unmute yourself and start talking, somebody will find you, and you can tell us what you've experienced with these pins.
Thank you so much, Ronnie, and the rest of you. I can tell just from the way that y'all are helping each other along in the turning that y'all have hearts that are of service and generous. And we have been the recipients of that. And we're very, very grateful. And just to explain a little bit about what our specific program is, we are there to support the new Marines that graduate from boot camp and don't have family members who can be there to cheer them on. And so our program has phones that they can use temporarily to call home, and we have homemade snacks and mom hugs, if you will, especially pre-COVID. But anyway, it's been a huge blessing to me as a military spouse to be able to come alongside these young 18 to 22-ish people who have just accomplished one of the most amazing feats of their life, and to be able to celebrate with them. And when Ronnie and Marianne approached us about, they had extra pins aside from what they were going to give to their grandson, right?
Correct.
And his platoon, they had these extra pins, and we were just so very happy to be able to share them. And the reception has been just very heartwarming. I have also been able to give one to the general of the base here, General Nethercott. She has one of y'all's pens as well. And it's what has been the benefit of having this tangible thing that because they can't take the phones with them, they can't take the snacks, the hugs or whatever, but they can take this pen that has been hand tooled and go with them and know that there are people behind them who support them and who are cheering them on, who can encourage them. And we've got one, I don't know if Samantha Page is on the chat right now yet, but I just love watching her give out the pens, because she always tells them, tuck it right here, and because everybody always needs a pen. And at boot camp, what they call it is an ink stick, and I'm not exactly sure why, but that's the term for a pen when you are going through boot camp and at Paris Island. It's an ink stick. And so she, gives them the pen, and they tuck it in their little pocket. And she said, now you can call it a pen. And it's just a huge blessing for them to be able to have this tangible symbol of the support that your community and you represent so many of us at large who want to support these young Marines who are embarking on this huge life-changing career, and just to have a tangible support. And we are very, very grateful.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you very much. And we all say thank you. And that's a support that everyone can do, and let them know, hey, somebody out here is thinking about you. Like I told you the first time we met you, somebody's thinking about you. Somebody loves you, and this is just a little token of our appreciation. So
Exactly, exactly. And I have had the blessing of being able to see so many of the pens that y'all have made, and I just have to say, from a layperson's view, they are gorgeous. The pens that y'all make are just beautiful. So
they,
thank you so much.
we have the finest wood turners in the world right here, and
I have
you
no
look
doubt.
at them, you looking at them, and they are from all over the world. I mean, this is it. And if you stick around and look at the gallery tonight, you're going to see some very special work here. And these people, week after week, they keep coming back and surprising you every week with the work that they do. So
I bet.
I always say that when you come to one of these meetings, whether you know anything about wood turning or not, you're going to walk away with a hint, a tip, or a trick.
I bet.
So
I bet.
thank you to all the ladies. I don't know if any of the other ladies would like to say anything or introduce themselves or what, but we have the time if they'd like to come forth. So God bless the military.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. I know Marisol is here. I'm not sure. Oh, Tiffany is here as well. Yeah. I don't know if any of y'all would like to hop on.
I think we.
Can I unmute myself?
You are
Yeah.
now.
Sure, you can
Okay,
unmute yourself.
Hi. Oh, let me show myself really quick. I'm trying to balance kids right now too.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Inglesey. I am one of the volunteers for Private Peppers, and I have dispersed this pen out quite often. And it's actually one of my favorite things to do at Private Peppers because it's one of the most memorable things. Because I feel like, and my husband was one of those service members that did not have family when he graduated, and I didn't realize how that affected him. And so that's one of the reasons why I go out each week, because I want to be able to greet those Marines, because I know my husband would have appreciated to have the same thing. And the Marines really love those pens. And one of the reasons why I think they love it so much is it will always remind them of boot camp. There's certain pens that you don't get rid of, and that's going to be one of them that they don't get rid of, and they're going to always cherish. And it's going to be something that will remind them of, of their time at Paris Island. And my favorite part of Private Peppers is when I get to put out those or give out those pens, because I love seeing the smiles on their faces. They open them up and they're all different, and they talk about it. They get excited about it. And so I wish you guys were there, and maybe I'll take some more pictures the next time so you guys can see the pictures of them opening up their pens. But they're always so excited to see them. And I very much appreciate you guys being able to do that for us. I know that is hard and it's not always easy and convenient, but I know that those Marines always appreciate them.
Well, Tiffany, we love doing this. And for those who have served, for all Americans, it really makes a difference.
It does.
When you get something from home or people, not a gang or a group or a club or whatever, but just people. And that's why we say put a note in there, put a card, whatever, to let them know where it came from, who you are, and how they can talk to you.
And they read those, every time. They always read those. I watch them read them. So I think it adds a special touch.
Well, I can tell you, as a grandparent, being there for family day and graduation, well, just so everybody will understand this, we got there like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark. You find a parking place and you go on a stand on the parade grounds, and everything's silent. And all of a sudden, you start hearing this chant, and the chant becomes louder and louder. And all of a sudden, all these young Marines, they come running by. They're on their run, and they do like a 2 or 3 mile run, and then they come back, and then they start exercising. And then when they finish that, they leave there and they go get dressed in their greens, and they back for Families Day. I tell you what, it gives you goosebumps to when all of that is taking place. And these people could easily be sitting at home on the sofa doing nothing, and these people are giving up their time and their life, and they became a Marine. And it's not just a Marine; it's any branch of the service. So we really appreciate everything that any service person is doing and has done. So thank you very much.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
we have put that contact information, folks, in our chat. Paris Island Spouses Club on Paris Island, South Carolina. And that if you need that contact, it's there. If you don't save the chat tonight, it's going to be on our website. It makes it easy. Ladies,
if you look at the website, it's in two different places. At the beginning page, when it says something about freedom pins, if you click on that pin up at the top, it's there. And if you go inside the site to locate the other branches of service, it's also there. So anybody that needs that information, it's already on the site for you to start forwarding these pins to these ladies.
great program, folks. Great program. And it's part of what worldwidewoodturners.org does. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you'd like to come back another evening and chat with us, come on back. We really want to talk this up and keep it going. Ronnie, appreciate you joining us tonight to talk about that. I see your boss looking over your shoulder. She's keeping an eye on you, huh, Ronnie?
Yeah, well, she was a big part of Paris Island. You know, she got with Pam and all the other ladies, and after being with them for 5 minutes, they were friends.
Well, it's easy to do when you're doing something good. Yeah, thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you to all of the men who donated, and thank you to all of the people who are serving in our military.
Yes, they're doing a great thing for our country. Well, you do a great thing for them. Thank you, folks.
Ronnie?
Yeah.
I had to tear your label off of this one. This one is going out to the Paris ladies. So I will mail this tomorrow morning. And I have 3 more to mail tomorrow.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you so much.
One to Doug, one to John, and one to Jim.
Good.
Those are all going out tomorrow.
Wow. Ronnie had an impact. Look at that.
Thanks to everyone. I know these ladies will put it to good use.
Good. All right, Randy, appreciate it. Folks, you can be involved too. It's just the way this club is serving. And you know, some folks have said, what's the deal with turning pens? If you're a beginning turner or a novice turner or a turner, turning pens is a good way to hone your skills. Challenge yourself. See if you can go soup the nuts with a roughing gouge. Bad name for a good tool, roughing gouge. Go soup the nuts with that gouge. Go soup the nuts with your skew. Go soup the nuts with your Ellsworth. When you get down to a certain point, kick in the scraper. Eliminate some sanding by slicing off with a scraper. All these things will improve your turning on all other projects. So you're not just turning pens, you're turning items and developing something which is your skills. And that's what we all need to do. Worldwide Woodturners, we concentrate more on technique than art. We can't teach you art, but we can show you the technique. Well, let's go to Johnny and get that demonstration. And I'll load it again. Johnny, are you with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, I got you now, bud.
All right there. Let me run by a couple of things here real quick. I wanted to show you what I use there for sharpening and grinding. We were talking about the angles and that kind of thing. But when it's something that I use on a regular basis, this is what I've done on my grinders there. There's a little piece of aluminum angle I put right in there. I know what it is for my detailed spindle gouges, and over here for my standard bowl gouge and my Marshall A bowl gouge. But I have a different piece of aluminum for each one. And that gives me the consistent grind. Okay. All right. So moving right along here. What I'm going to take here is a 12-inch long 1 3/4 square. And basically what I'm going to do is mark the centers of them. And I use my little center finder. And I've already done that. So, okay. I'll get back over here. And
Hey, Johnny, we couldn't see what you were doing there. Could you go over that again? I'm a little confused.
Okay, so am I, but all right, let me do that. Bear with me just a minute.
We got a lot of camera shake, so you find a standing point for the camera, we'll probably get past that.
Get down here. Okay. That. All right. What I've taken here is a 12-inch, 1 3/4 square bore. I use my center finder to mark it. Both ends. But when I cut it, I squared off both ends. So I'd be ready to chuck it up there. And actually, I'm going to start off between centers. Let's see here. Yeah. Now, I'm going to switch cameras here. The rest of it's going to be on the other camera there. Okay.
All right, looking at a lathe. Now, warn us before that happens.
Hey, can you switch over to my other camera, Johnny's iPhone?
Ooh.
We're looking at your face right now, Johnny.
Yeah, if you would switch over to my iPhone.
Okay, I'm trying to get there. Want the co-host grab it?
I can help with that, Eddie, if you want to make me a co-host.
Yep, I'll get there. Thought I did that. We're working at it, folks.
All right, Johnny, we got your overhead. Your overhead is now set. Except we can't hear you. You need to unmute the overhead or something, Johnny.
I can't find you at all, man.
All right, now you're unmuted. Thank you.
Okay. Gotta mute this other one. Okay. All right. This is just one I did earlier today, and we'll get back to that one in a minute. But this is what I'm going to turn is a just a regular little tool handle, and it's going to be for a spindle type gouge. It's going to be about a 12-inch handle. So what I'm going to do here, I put 2 centers on here to start this with. Is this the right one? Picked up the wrong one.
Joe Cheney reports that he's got a technical problem. He has a Powermatic lathe that's just not that color, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, that happens sometimes. All right.
Johnny, when we wrap this up, I got some folks asking if they could see your center finder. So let's close in on it when we wrap up so they can see what it is.
Okay.
And Dave Rhodes would love to see a little detail on that. You know how Dave is. He, if it happens, he's going to be nosy and get there.
Okay, basically I'm going to use 4 tools on this. I'm going to use a rough and gouge, spindle rough and gouge to rough it out. I'm going to use a skew, a parting tool, and I may use a little detail spindle gouge. I'm going to get my mask here. See if you can still hear me.
We got you. Folks, during
All
this
right.
demonstration, if you could hold your questions and comments until the end of the demonstration, it allows the demonstrator to stay focused on his project. We will get to your questions. We will help you out. But let's let Johnny stay centered here.
Okay, here we go. Okay, now I'm going to mark one in for the chuck here because I'm going to switch it out of here and put it in this little chuck. This is a little nifty thing. I may have showed this before. It just holds my pencils. I got one on the tail side, one on the head side. Okay, we got room to go here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a parting tool, and I'm going to cut this down for my chuck here. And I'm just going to take a little scraper and put a little dovetail on this. Most of you know, the important thing, anytime you put a piece in a chuck, you want a good square shoulder up here, which will keep that thing in the chuck, okay? So that's what we're looking for. So now I'm going to take it out from between centers. I'm going to take my center out of the chuck. And we're going to crank her down. You may have noticed I like the steb centers. If you're not familiar with a steb center, what it does is more or less a safety center. It doesn't have the great big spurs on it. It's got a spring-loaded center point in it. And I like to use that to hold it up against the chuck while I tighten the chuck. I want this tight because I'm getting ready to drill out here. What I'm going to use when I do these, I use a, bear with me 1 minute here. This is what I use to hold the tool itself on these. They are, let me get a tool here. I like to use these because when I sharpen my tools, I take them out of the handle. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's going to slide into there. All I have to do is loosen these 2 set screws and pull it out to sharpen it. It just makes it easier than having a big long handle and the piece on there. But that's what I'm going to use tonight. You can also just cut it and use a piece of copper pipe, for instance, for the end to reinforce the front end of it. But this is what I'm going to use tonight. And I'll put these up here out of the way. So in order to do that, that takes a 5/8 inch hole drilled in the end. So I'm going to back this out, take off my step center. Steps in here for a minute. And I'm going to take a 5/8 inch Forstner bit. I'm going to take that out of here. I'm going to turn her down. I like to drill this thing about 500 to 600 RPMs. Okay. Always hold your chuck. I have the dust collector on because it makes too much noise. So I'm going to go in roughly 3 inches, which is more than enough. Okay, and that's it for the drilling. Put that away for now. And that's also going to be it for the chuck. That. Going back to stem centers. Nope, messed up there. I'm going to put it back between centers. And basically the cone of this is going to hold it in the center, because that hole is the new center. Put it in there, start the thing up. Okay. I'm a little below center where I want to be when I use this rough and gouge. Basically what I'm going to do now is turn it down to my largest outside diameter. And in order to do that, I'm going to use dividers. I've got all 3 of the dimensions on here and they're all numbered. So I'm going to have to take it down a little bit. But we're going to the largest diameter that it's going to be down. Let's see if we're anywhere close here. We're close here. It's a piece of cherry, by the way. And you can use any kind of wood you want to make your handles with. I've made them from everything, mahogany, just about everything but pine. And we should be pretty close here. We are right on it. Okay, so that's our outside diameter. Okay, what we're going to do now is take out my handy little storage stick. And I made enough handles. I have a storage stick for the
We lost Johnny. Well, we're going to get it back to you. Who got him before? Can we get him back? Johnny Hughes, okay, we still have him here.
He's still in the list, but I don't.
Johnny's iPhone is also there. Spotlight Johnny's iPhone. There's his iPhone again.
He's back. No worries.
He's muted though.
I can't unmute him.
There you go. Is that better? Okay.
Yes,
I'm going over the story stick. I've got a little notch here. Normally, when I turn a handle, and this is for the 12-inch handle, this piece up here I would leave if I was going to insert the gouge or whatever and epoxy it in there. But I'm not. I'm going to use the aluminum inserts I was showing you before. So I'm going to back my little story stick up here, and you'll notice I have little lines here, and I have filed a little notch inside each one of those. And that's to let my pencil lay here where I wanted to make these lines. So I'm going to turn it back on, lay my story stick up. I'm going to come in here and make me a few little lines here and there. Just like that. That's the story stick. And what I'm going to do is come in here and mark these lines. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the pair of dividers, mark number 2 up here, because I know that this line here is going to be the smallest dimension here. This is the largest, this is the smallest. So we're going to come in here with our parting tool. There we go. That's going to be our smallest dimension there. Now all we have to do is turn down this end and down through the middle there. So here we go. One thing I want to do, I want to mark the dimensions for my piece here. It's going to be right about there. Okay. I'm going to take it down till it fits perfectly there. So and we're close. That's pretty close. That's right where I want to be. Okay. Now this part here, you kind of leave it up to the way you like the shape of your handles, but I'm going to take that down quite a bit. Carefully, because I don't want to play in here. and vice versa. We're going to do the same thing back here. I'm going to take my number 3 piece. Come in here with my divider. Okay, that's close enough. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tear that out just a little bit here. Okay. I'm just going to make these notches a little bit wider. What I'm going to do is take my little wire here, and I'm going to burn into it here. Get rid of some of the smoke. And that's my basic shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with a piece of 180 real quick. I like to turn it down there again to about 600 for my sanding, between 500 and 600. Makes your sandpaper last longer. And That's it at 320. Something I like to do. A lot of people don't do it, but I do. It's raise the grain on this thing. I like my handles to be very smooth. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to spray it down with a little water. Cherry's not bad about raising the grain. But we're going to put that on there. Let it soak for half a minute. Anybody got any questions while we're at this moment?
How long is your tool rest?
Pardon me?
How long is that tool rest you're using?
Oh, I think it's, I don't know. That's my longest single one. I do have a double post that goes 28 inches. But that's 15 inches.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, it comes in handy for something like this. Like I said, I've got one that's 28 inches, but it takes both banjos. And we don't need that. Okay, that's drying pretty good.
Johnny, I was watching you with that skew, and that's the most enjoyable part. When you see somebody work with a skew, you can enjoy that.
Well, thank you. I try to use it and practice with it every now and then. So I use it quite a bit, especially on spindle days.
It's an enjoyable tool once you know how it works.
Yes, if I ever figure it out, I'll be ready. Let's see. Okay, so that raised the grain on it right there. And what I did, I started out with 180, 240, and 320. So I'm going to go back to the 320 real quick and knock that down. Make it noisy for a minute because I'm going to turn this dust collector on.
I can say that Ronnie and I have seen that dust collector. He's got a system. It's nice. Watch that dust disappear.
I'm looking at that dust collector, and if Johnny don't keep both feet on the ground, I think it's going to suck him in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it does pretty good. That's 320, which is pretty smooth, but I'm going to hit it with 400 before I call it a day here. I know a lot of y'all don't want to watch sanding, but it's kind of necessary. Let's see here.
It's not sanding, it's finishing.
That's it, finishing. That's when you put it that way, it sounds better. Okay. Get a little bit of 400 here. On the higher grits, you really need to go slow because if you don't, it's just going to skip right over everything. Okay. So that is basically where we're going to go. But I do one more thing here, and that is I'm going to put a little sand and sealer on it. Cherry doesn't require a lot of sand and sealer, but it's going to get a little bit. There's my antique Sun Herald newspaper.
You still make those things out of paper?
Well, actually, they don't here anymore. Yeah.
Remember, it's that sanding sealer, and look at the pop. The chatoyan is coming out from 400 sand Clean cut. Amazing.
Knock off some of that excess. And that sand and sealer is cut 50-50 with lacquer thinner. It's a lacquer sand and sealer. So get some of that out of there. Got my little burn marks deep enough that they're full of sand and sealer. So I'm going to dry them off. And I like the lacquer based sand and sealer. It just dries so fast. And that's dry. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to come in here with a little bit of Yorkshire grit or any kind of abrasive paste. There's several of them out there on the market, and they all seem to do the same thing. Because we've got it down to 400 grit, so we're going to put a little abrasive paste on it and kind of buff it up.
Johnny, for those wondering, abrasive paste is not a finish. It's a conditioner to bring the material down to an even, smooth finish.
Right, and it's kind of like using a 1800, 2000 grit, because it will smooth it out even more than we did with the 400 grit. And I'll put lacquer over the top of this, or sometimes I've used CA glue, but normally lacquer, because you can't really tell a whole lot of difference in them. What I have here, one of these is done in lacquer and the other one was done in CA glue, and you really can't tell the difference in them. They're just they're both good finishes, and they're durable enough for what I'm going to use them for.
Johnny, the way that you're using that abrasive paste, I'm glad to see it. You put the sand and sealer on, and then you come with the abrasive paste. A lot of times
Right.
you'll see people just put abrasive paste right on bare wood, and that's not the way it's recommended.
No, it's not. Not at all. All I'm doing is working in this abrasive paste, and that's going to smooth it out, just like compounding an automobile or something. When you put a rubbing compound on it, it's basically the same thing here.
And for you younger members, compound used to be the way we polished cars a long time ago.
Yes, it is. I guess I'm showing my age there. Now I just want to be sure I get all of that abrasive paste off of there, or at least most of it off of there. So I've turned it up a little bit, probably about 1500 RPM, somewhere in there. Cleaned out my burn lines. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, now, and I've heard people say, well, you know, you can't put a lacquer on it if it's got an abrasive paste on it because that has some wax in it. But that's not true. I've got things that are done with abrasive paste, and I've sprayed them with lacquer, and they've been that way for years. Never had a problem. Okay, that's just sanded and abrasive paste on it right there. So clean these little black lines out of here. Make sure I got all the abrasive paste.
Please note that he's using a piece of
paper towel.
Paper towel, not cloth. Paper towel.
I just want to make sure I got everything out of there. And there we go. That is ready for lacquer. So okay, so somebody's going to ask, well, what about the end there where you had your steb center? I got a solution for that. Bear with me 1 second here.
Members, in a few minutes, we're going to return to gallery. I've had the video gallery, I believe, is ready to load and go back again. We're also going to be collecting information through our website for our event calendar. I see a couple of things popped up on a chat tonight. That's where if you got an item, a calendar item, regardless of if it's pay-per-view or whatever, you can put it in the chat. We will add it to our events calendar, and it's open to the entire world. So if you got something to list, put it in there.
Okay, so what I've done here is, I'm gonna move this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Are we still there?
No, we lost you. We lost your iPhone. We're gonna get something else. Johnny's iPhone.
Somebody was calling me on it. That's what it was. So let me see if I can get rid of them. Okay, I should be back.
Pay off your student loan, Johnny.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have one of those, but they the VA took care of that. So, at any rate, here we go. There's the end where my steb center was. And in order to cover that, you can go down to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and get a furniture tack. And a little furniture tack is going to go right into there. I'll leave it enough so we can drive it in, and that covers that. And then this
Great
piece
idea.
here.
That's a great idea.
Is going to be
I've
covered.
got some of those.
Yeah, it kind of serves
Right
two
there.
purposes, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So that's what we're looking at there. It's a finished tool, but I'm not going to epoxy this in or the tack because I still have to spray it with lacquer. So, but that is.
Nice looking handle, Johnny.
Well, thank you. That's why I like them there, because it's just so handy to take them out when you go to sharpen them. It just really is. If you notice on the spindle gouge there. It's a whole lot easier to sharpen them without that big handle on it. So, but that's why I use those type of tool handles. And you can get those from anybody. There's several people that sell them, you know, Cindy and Doug and my son, everybody makes them. So there, if you like to do that, that's what I like. So that's just one of those things. And that's it. That's how I make a tool handle.
Nice demo.
Well, thank you. Any questions?
Good demo, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny.
Well,
That
thank
was
you.
real good.
Well,
Loved
thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody? Oh, you're welcome there. Anybody have
See
any
your
questions?
how could we see how you set up your center finder that you used at the beginning? How that works?
Well, it's kind of a top secret thing, but let me show you that. Bear with me a second.
Well done, Johnny. Thanks very much.
We don't have any top secrets, do we? Check with the security team.
Do you have
That's
to have
why
a
I'm going to
security
share it.
clearance to use it?
No, once I've exposed it to the public here, this is what it is here. It's basically a couple of pieces of one bite that's been cut down with a bolt through the end of it. The centerpiece here has a hole drilled through it at an angle for the pencil. That's not a real critical angle either, by the way. So what you do is put enough tension on that little screw right there to kind of hold it steady. And then you take a little block. We'll take this one here. It's a prime piece of pine, but we'll we'll do it anyways. You raise it to the height you want, and I don't know if you can see that or not. The line's going across there, and then the center of those 4 lines is the center of this piece. And it works. It doesn't have to be a square piece. It could be any kind of piece. You know, it just kind of wide to do it here, but that's going to be basically the center. And if you want to take a shot at the middle, you can kind of guess at the middle and do the same thing. It wasn't a very good guess, was it? But anyways, in the center, that's going to be the center of this piece. And it works with odd shapes. It works with round pieces. It works with most everything. I've used it for years. So it was custom made by a guy. I mean,
Thanks, Johnny. Nice demo. Great demo.
Oh, you're quite welcome there.
Very nice, Johnny. Thank you, sir.
Oh, y'all are quite
Didn't
welcome.
you say you can get the inserts?
The inserts, I don't know if I can say it on here, but Cindy Droza sells them. Doug Thompson sells them. My son sells them. My son has a machine shop, so he's made these for me. But he's sold quite a few of them on eBay and on his Facebook page. So, and they're, depending on who you get them from, they're anywhere from $20 to $25 there. You know, I think my son gets, I want to say 20 for his, but they're and they come in all different sizes. You know, but the one I just did was a 3/8. This one here is a 1/2 inch, and I've got other sizes there too. The 5/8 and even the 1/4 inch. They're but in fairness, now this is one of Cindy Droza's, and that's a 3/8 inch, and it works fine. But actually, I think Doug Thompson makes these for Cindy. In fact, I'm sure he does. But they're and anybody can use them and make them. I've turned several handles for them because I like them. This one here is one of my sons, and that's a skew that I made. I run it through and hardened it and tempered it, and I like to play with this one. So probably should have used it tonight, but that's a maple handle there. But that's it. And I've got these, like I said, you can make them out of anything. That's mahogany. I've got a little bit I made them out of pecan, balsa pecan, and anything else. Just needs to be a pretty solid piece of wood. It's not a lot of stress on it. All the stress is on the tool rest when you're cutting with them. So, but yep. Is that it? Any more questions?
Johnny, that what you were just discussing brings up a question that was asked in the chat about having a ferrule as well as that insert.
Oh, well, if you use and I made some of them. Well, if you look at this one here, this is a Sorby with the ferrule, and I've made them like this before too. But I've done away with all of mine that are made like this. And basically, all you need is a piece of 3/4 or 1 inch copper tubing, copper pipe, anyways, just like so. And that's all it is. You leave that much wood on there, this will slide over it, like so. And you just epoxy the handle in there, and that's it. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
copper,
a
so
3/4 inch coupling.
your steel tools will cut it, so you can clean it up with your normal turning tools.
Right. And if you go down to Hobby Lobby, you can find a button the same color if you want to be fancy there. But that's what it is. And that's the difference. This is a 3/4 inch coupling, and this is a piece of 3/4 inch tubing. But and that's what I usually use is either 3/4 inch pipe or 1 inch pipe for the bigger pieces. But that's all I use. Basically, that's all that Sorby uses and the others use. And that's really all you need. There's not a lot of pressure in there. I've never torn one loose. So Not that it can't be done. I'm sure people have done it, but I've never broken one out. So. And those work just as well. And that's on my story stick. I don't know if you noticed, but this first 7/8 of an inch is what I leave in wood there. And then I'll slide this over the top of that to reinforce it when I epoxy this, and I'll epoxy the tool in it. So you can do them either way. Anybody got any question about storage sticks? I've got a drawer full of them and a bunch of them on the wall back here. I use them quite often, especially for spindles. Anybody can turn spindles, but if you want more than one, it's good to make them all kind of look alike. Okay. In fact, that's my little joke when I turn table legs for some of these cabinet shops around here and furniture makers, and I'll call them up and say, "Your legs are ready." I said, "You didn't want them all to be the same, did you?" But yeah, but that's where a storage stick comes in handy. That's the shape tool I like. That's what I make. So, any other questions?
Johnny, you did an awesome demonstration tonight. We got a couple of comments in our chat. Don Wilson believes that Mark Soleil has the inserts as well, of the sleeves. And I do know that a couple of clubs will have somebody with a CNC machine that'll make them up for members, maybe outside a club too. Johnny, awesome demonstration. A lot of common sense shared with about turning a wood handle, getting it from, I like to say, soup to nuts. We went from a block of wood to a finished handle. And with all the talking and chatting we did, we still did a pretty good time. So again, thank you, Johnny. Look forward to seeing more of your work.
That's good. And I thank you. I didn't know that Mark sold them. He came by the shop here last week there and visited for a long time. But I don't know if he's on tonight or not, but always enjoy having him come by. So.
Wait. Mark came to your place and you didn't call it Johnny and I? I mean, Ronnie and I?
No, he visited with me for a good while, and then he went up to Trace's and visited with Trace for a while. And yeah, but I should have.
I seen him when he was in New Orleans. He stayed at my house that night, so we had a good visit, and the wife fed him and all, and he was glad to lay his head on a nice pillow.
Yeah, and I guess I'm fortunate. His son lives just a little ways from me, so quite often he'll come down to see the grandkids. So,
right.
Yeah, but yeah, and either way works. You can use the copper pipe or you can use the inserts. They're all righty.
Eddie?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to get a survey from the people. A good while back, we talked about lasers. And at one point, people came forth and said this is a wood turning club. And I can understand that. What I'd like to find out if anybody is interested in lasers and what they can do in the work of a laser. If you are, come forth and say something. If you would like to see something or have it mentioned, we don't have to be on it any amount of time. But if you're interested in lasers, it's a very interesting tool, and maybe we can give it 15, 20 minutes to add it along with our wood turning.
That's a great idea, Ronnie. I mean, I'm looking at the photographs we received this week from our turners to go in our gallery, and a lot of them have either got the name signed by a laser printer, or I'm sorry, a laser burner, or they've got accent work. Oh, look out! Come on, man!
Highlight it.
I'm coming to you. Now I got you.
I'll be on.
Wait a minute. Let me get it up there. This is something I've only been fooling with this since December, and I went on the internet and I found a flag that I liked. I downloaded it and put it The software I'm working with is Lightburn. I downloaded it into Lightburn. I cut it all out. This is on 3mm plywood, and then I mounted it on another piece. And everything that you see, the different colors, it all comes out like a puzzle. You paint it all and then glue it back together. And yes, if you look at those stars, they were all out on the table, and it's like a puzzle putting them back together. So if anyone is interested in lasering, I've been doing a bunch of stuff with it. I've been taking charcuterie boards. If you don't know what a charcuterie board is, it's a glorified cutting board. And I've been putting prayers on them and giving them to people. I've been doing coasters. And what's interesting, there is a free software, and you go onto the internet, and you can design boxes. And I was showing Eddie this week. With the little bit of knowledge that I have in this, I went on, designed the box to fit these coasters. I made it hold eight coasters and cut it out, and it all has finger joints on it. You put them all together, glue it, and I went into putting the people's name on the outside of the boxes along with their names on the coaster. So it was a real nice gift, to give someone. And the possibilities of working with this laser, and especially working with Lightburn, I can tell you the possibilities are endless. The more you watch on YouTube, the more you learn, and the more you want to be involved. So if anybody is interested, just step forth, and we can talk about this, or try to figure out what you're trying to do. So
Ronnie, I'm gonna share something right here. You'll see. It's like that's Ronnie's project.
Yeah.
Wow.
That came from LA Hobby Guy, probably. He's got a video on that. Really done nice.
Well, this is called boxes.py. And you can go onto this software website, and you pick out the size or the kind of box you want. In this particular one, I told it those coasters are 4" by 4". So I told it I wanted the inside the box 4 1/8 inches. And as you can see, all of that's finger joints. It all snaps together, and then you glue it together, and it makes a real nice gift,
Hey, Ronnie, this is
Yes.
Gary Bobenhouse, and I talked with you on the phone a lot about the laser, and yeah, your information was great. Just at the time, I'm not right in a position. I'm in a little itty bitty garage, and don't have the room for the laser and the table setups. But I really appreciated the information you gave me, and somewheres down the line, when I can figure out how to get a bigger area, I will be getting one. But I really appreciated your information.
Well, thank you. That's all in sharing. I'd say I'm a person that I struggle on a computer. Yeah. So I had a good friend that helped me out when I was getting started, putting this in the computer and getting it up and running. But since then, we've been sharing back and forth his ideas and my ideas, and it's a great learning knowledge. You just look at these things and you wonder how this is done. I'm gonna show you something else, but this is the first step. This is not a good end product.
I remember, right? Billy Dillard did a demo on lasers last year, was it?
Yes,
Right.
yes, it was.
Yeah, he did. It was an excellent demo.
I was over at my sister-in-law's house the other night, and she had tulips sitting on the kitchen table. So I took a picture of it, and with a laser, you can actually laser canvas. So you go to these dollar stores and they sell you a piece of canvas and it's already framed. So what you do is you come home, you take the bare piece of canvas and you take white spray paint and spray it all white. And then you proceed to put additional colors. I used yellow, orange, red, green, and then you come on top of it with black. Well, I took this picture of these tulips and brought it into a software and turned it into a negative. And then I brought it into Lightburn and I proceeded to laser this picture onto a piece of canvas. Now you got to remember, you got 4 layers of color on this canvas. And what I'm going to show you, this is not correct. I've got some more work to do it, but this is what happens. The color,
And that's with the laser.
The colors need help. Those tulips should be white. They should be yellow. They should be orange. Look, I'm running low on the battery, it's telling me, but I think I can get through this. But this is what happens when you look at it. You wonder, well, why doesn't it just burn right through the canvas? But if you got the right speed and the right power, it doesn't. I haven't hit on the right speed or the right power to make this look the way it should, but this is a work in progress. So you can.
Will you use that same canvas to update it, or do you have to go to a different canvas?
When I do what?
When you're going to try and enhance the colors, do you use that same canvas, or do you have to go to a new canvas?
No, I'm gonna go to a different canvas.
Okay.
So, it's just, you look at it and you say, how in the world does it do it? But I tell you what, it's amazing what these lasers can do. You know.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to need some help too. I have not figured out how to do Lightburn or how to get it to work. Okay. But it's going to be a couple of weeks before I, right now I can't even get on my computer. I can't even get on Google. So I will need to call you.
Yeah. What you need to do is call me and then we'll try to figure it out. If I can figure out the computer side of it, the Lightburn side of it, I'm getting it down pretty good. But if I don't know it, I've got a couple of friends that are pretty good with computers. Maybe we can figure out what you need. So
okay, I can laser something, you know, like a word or whatever. I can do that, but I just can't get Lightburn to do anything at all. So
Lightburn's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's minor, because if you have Lightburn, sometimes you need to just wake it up in a way to get it to operate, you know. So,
slap it around a little bit.
Well, that's a nice way of saying it. Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, in a couple of weeks.
Does anybody else have any questions about lasers, or if you're interested in a laser, you know, feel free. You can call me. Like I talked to Gary. When you purchase a laser, you're purchasing more than just a laser. You have to have some type of computer, first of all, or you have to have a laptop. And then the light burn for the initial purchase of it, it's going to cost you about $60. But that's, I would say, hands down, to the minute you want to get on the laser, to go with light burn. Don't fool with anything else. And if you watch these videos, everybody is using light burn, and the system just keeps getting better and better. They keep updating it all the time and improving their system. So, does anybody have any questions or any interest?
I'll throw my 2 cents in there real quick. So, Eddie, are you able to put that picture back up of what Ronnie did with the box and the coasters?
I think I can do that right here. But there you go.
Okay, so here's how I look at this. I do have one of the lasers. I'm dumber than a box of rocks on learning how to use it, but between one of the guys in my local club and my kid, they're getting me a little bit better at it. But so when I look at this, what Ronnie made right there, in my mind, what I do is that I look and go, well, how can I make something like that on a lathe? So this is why I love all these different ideas that people bring in this club. So I would say, well, could I just make coasters, spin me a round box, essentially, put them in there and do that engraving on my laser? Well, of course I could, but I probably wouldn't have that idea pop in my head if I wouldn't have seen Ronnie do this. So I would never object to anybody bringing anything into this club, because somehow we will turn it into wood turning, connecting it to wood turning, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
It just makes my wheels start.
It can accent your work. It can just Billy Dillard showed us his signature that he developed for his work. I don't think Billy's with us tonight because he wasn't well, but you can fine tune that. Now Brenda says you have a problem with light burn. Brenda, I was ready to tear it off my computer and throw it away. Then I found out that right there on the burn thing, it's got GRBL and GRBL M3 and the other. If you don't pick the one that matches your laser, you're toast. It isn't going to work right. It might burn lines. I'll tell Ronnie I had great straight lines on my stuff. Although it was supposed to be a curve, it came out nice and straight. So we played
Brenda,
around.
you don't have anything major wrong. You just got to get used to light burn and know, like Eddie's saying, you got to click on the gerbil, and then there's a COM, whatever that number is. You have to make sure that's there. And sometimes it's just a little technical, but you wake it up and then it's okay, you know?
Yeah, and you can call us, Brenda.
Yeah,
We'll help
I
you
figured
with
it's something simple.
Oh, it is. It is. So,
but it's a
Again,
great
I
way.
think it's really cool when we can tie different types of woodworking skills together. Some of you were already in the club and probably still remember when I did a demo where I scroll saw out a piece, fill it with resin, then put it back on the lathe and turned it out. I did a US Navy bolt the one time. That is something I just learned recently. I could do a whole lot easier with my laser and just let the laser do all the cutting instead of me doing the cutting on the scroll saw, but it would essentially be the same thing.
If anyone is interested in the laser and you're not sure which way you want to go with it, call us and we'll talk about it. Basically, there is 3 types of laser that people fool with. The most expensive is a CO2 laser, which you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on one of those. Then there's a fiber laser, and what we're using is what they call a diode laser. So a diode laser is the cheapest way to go. And basically for what we're gonna do with it, you can do a lot of things, and somebody with a CO2 laser or a diode laser, you might not be able to know which one did it. So
Can I show can I show a few quick pieces here relevant to this?
Go
Sure.
ahead. Let me get you back up. All right, Matt, I'm gonna lock you on right now.
Click on this. This piece is one I did on my little laser. Mine is a can you see this? I can't really tell if this is going out or not.
It's up. It's up.
Okay, all right.
Center of it.
So the black lines are all cut with my laser. This was 3 passes to cut these deep and wide because I couldn't hardly see them the first time I cut them. And this, I made this pattern. There's a free program called Inkscape that has a spirograph feature in it, and it lets you play with anything you ever did with a kid on a spirograph you can make as a graphic image. So I made the image in Inkscape, saved it as a DXF or whatever that file type is that my laser program can take, and just loaded it in my laser program and sent it to the laser. And then the blue is made with India ink pens. So I just colored in the holes after it was done. And the other piece that the first thing I did when I was testing my lasers, I put my name on my tool handles. Okay. So Bob Moffat asked about if it'll do things round. These are round tool handles, and I didn't. This is not on a rotary attachment or anything like this. This is just straight, put the name on the, so it had enough focal length to do this around the slight curvature of the handle. So, and that's what I have to show.
All right.
I got other things. I've got other things, but bigger things, but I've done some placards and things like that, but that's, it'll do a lot of things. So.
All right. Thank you, sir. And it adds to your work. We don't want to become a laser program, and because there's about, just like wood turners, there's probably a zillion and 5 people that believe they know everything about it. Ronnie and I discovered a guy, Louisiana Hobby guy, and he's got a series. It's not one after the other. He covers a lot of things, and some you can't do on a diode. Some you need a fiber or a laser or whatever, and it turns out some awesome work. But I'm having a lot of fun fooling around with it. I've done coasters.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey.
I got a couple pieces here I can show you. I've been making these little, they're called the pill bottle keychains. They open up. All right. Like the secret compartment keychains. They're a little bigger. So they're called the pill bottles. But I've been using them for miniature urns for like the grandkids or whatever, and have lasered Mamaw and Papaw on them and crosses, and you see that? Oh, there you go. And
Brenda, you doing that with the Niji software?
yes, yeah, this is just the Niji software here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brenda, what you're going to find is when you get that light burn working, you can get the signatures and all as fine as if you'd write it with an ink pen.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I got a big urn for my brother, and he wants me to put the Ohio State emblem on the side of it, but I can't do that without light burn, and I can't get that to work. So that's my goal.
All right. Well, I have a solution for that problem. I'll get into it with you. I'll call you.
All right.
Brenda.
Next week.
Brenda.
Yeah.
Get that emblem that you want to be on it. Have that on file where you.
I've got that on file somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just can't. And I put it in light burn, but then it wouldn't do nothing after that. So.
I can get.
I don't know.
Get it into Niji for you. So.
Yeah.
That's what I do is the Niji there. I just recently I made a bunch of plaques there with them for people. And it's the Niji program, that's why I bought a Niji. It was simple, and I'm kind of so that's what I went with.
Yeah, it works. There's some shortcuts, some ideas you need to embrace. But guess what? You can't exceed the power of the machine you're using, and don't try. Okay, hey, we have a gallery, and I have access to it, and I think I have it worked where you can see it. So I'm going to try one more time for tonight's gallery. Here it comes, maybe. Okay, that was tonight's gallery. I muted out because we had some background sounds. So like to chat, you can do so by unmuting yourself right now. Brenda Thornton is handling our gallery, and Doug Miller's helping get our gallery. So you have something to show tonight. We have a little bit over 36 minutes remaining in the normal time of the membership meeting. And that's just the normal time. We've ran long. Got to mention, if you have something to add to our gallery, just like you saw just now, those folks sent in photographs of their work. And you look at it and say, look, hey, Gary Bobenhausen, he's got like 4 or 5 photographs of those pieces. Yes, that's what we want to see. Front, back, side, whatever, how you detailed it, how you held it, what you haven't finished with, whatever. We want to see all that. It's part of the move to improve everybody else's wood turning, because you get their mind starting to work. And we have an events list. If you have an event coming up, put it in our chat. I see we have a couple in there now. And this is open. This can be pay-per-view, free, clubs, whatever. If it's an event dealing with wood turning, we want it on our events calendar. That's it. And it doesn't cost anything to be there. We're also, tonight we spoke about stibe centers. Johnny was using a stibe center. And I've already had a PM. A guy said, what the heck? He used a different word. Is a stibe center. Well, we're developing a glossary of terms that are used in wood turning. So if, like on a stibe center, if you can explain what it is, why we use it, what it does, why is it different than a square, a nail-in square center, et cetera, develop that, mail it to us through our email address, and our webmaster will add that to our list of items that we're covering for the glossary. And tonight we heard from Pam and a few other ladies with the Marine Corps in Paris Island, and they're collecting Freedom pens. for the troops coming out of basic training. All that information is in two places on our website, and also it's in our chat tonight on how to contact the EV. Let me say, look, Ron Radcliffe did 22 pens for our 22 pen project. That's 22 pens. That's 22 members of the military have taken their own life, takes their own life each day because of emotional problems, maybe caused by their experiences. So Ron did 22. It doesn't mean you have to do 22. You turn 2, 3, 1, 7, 9, 11. We'll take them. You won't overload us, and you won't underload us either. I think
did we get to see any of Ron's pens that he made?
Yes, it was in the gallery just now.
Yeah. Oh, I had to walk away because my air compressor came on to turn it off and come back. However, when it's my turn to show gallery tonight, I'm gonna show a bowl that I made, but I also have those pens that Ron made. So I'll show them again when it's my turn.
Oh, you got them. Okay. All right. All right, let's go to gallery. We have Doug and Brenda handling that. They're both co-hosts. They're both members of the club. They're equal just as you're equal. They have assumed some responsibilities. And folks, let's go to gallery right now. And I see somebody up. Looks like Ron Vincent's up. Ron, what do you have, sir?
Hi there. Well, I have a small bowl that my wife asked me to make for some earrings. It's Paduke. It's about 3 inches in diameter.
It's got gush joints and a great finish on it. I like that.
That's just rattle can lacquer.
Beautiful finish.
Yeah.
You see your computer screen in it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really.
That's all I have.
Well, Ron, thank you so much
Love
for
it.
sharing with us tonight.
All right.
And Ron said he's using rattle can lacquer. There are some folks who live and die by it. It really does a great finish. Joe Cheney is with us now. Joe, is that your head on that table? Joe, you with us?
Joe, did you walk away?
Oh man, look, he left the
Hey, Brenda, that looks like Aunt Sally.
That's a smiling face right there.
Tell me, Eddie, you can't see that in there.
You don't have to be Brenda to see a face in that.
Exactly.
It's like a jack-o'-lantern.
Even the light looks like a nose.
Yep.
The glare from the light.
We were talking about Joe. He'd come back, but
Tell you what, let's switch
know
over to let's switch over to Bob Grinston. We'll come back.
I was gonna say Brenda's right with that light though, looking like a nose, and that just makes me want to sing. Rudolph the white nose would turn to bowl.
let's see what Bob. Hey, look, Bob's new shelf unit's covered with stuff. Look at that.
Oh yeah, I had to. Let me kind of turn it around here a little bit and show you.
Look at that.
Just had to find someplace to display it. You know, I can't have them all over the house.
That's a heck of an art gallery right there.
That looks great, man. Looks great.
Yeah, thanks.
Beautiful.
And some
Great
of those
work,
items,
Bob.
Some of those items have been in our gallery,
Yeah.
which is nice. Share that idea. And Bob has taught that. See that those what do you call them, Bob? On the outside, those pieces. Help me.
Spiral vases. Is that which one you're looking at?
Yes,
there?
spiral vases. Bob showed how to do that.
But,
Yes.
yeah, they turned out good. I like those. I like the spiral, but you know, after you make 2 or 3 of them, I don't know if I'll make another one for a while. But I enjoyed doing it.
Beautiful work. What do you have for tonight's gallery?
Yeah, I have a Beads of Courage box. So let me pull that up here, and it is a what do you call it? A mushroom.
Mushroom.
Yep, and I hope it's a mushroom, and you know, he's got a ladybug on top of it, and I still need to put in the center of that lid. I want to put one of those beads of courage beads in there. So I left it where I could drill it out and put one in there. But it's all epoxy coated and like they won't know there was a bunch of them at SWAT this year that were cloth and they had to throw them all away. So, but anyway.
Did you turn the ladybug too?
Yeah, turned the ladybug too, and then of course came in and carved it out a little bit.
That is so
looked
cute.
like wings.
So cute.
But it turned out fine. I had a little trouble with the epoxy, but I want to talk about that in another demo on epoxy finishes. Anyway, that's it. That's what I got.
Thank you, Bob. Beautiful work. Simply beautiful. Who's up, folks?
All right, how about Howard King?
Howard, talk to us.
Howard, you should be on.
Okay, how about it? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A friend of mine was clearing some land, and he cut down some trees, and he said they were bleeding. And I said, well, I want them. And so so I got a few pieces that he did not burn, and so I got to salvage some. So I made several platters of box elder.
Oh my!
Wow!
Oh,
it's the only one I got left. I gave several away to friends and things.
Oh my goodness!
So, really
nice.
nice.
Pretty, man. Real pretty.
That is gorgeous.
I wish I could have got to it before he destroyed a bunch of them. But anyway,
like that red grain, pretty.
Yes.
That's where it goes. And one tip on the box elder, sunlight and light will fade it, and you can get a UV protective spray. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but Hobby Lobby sells it. Okay, so that's where I get mine. And I spray 2 or 3 coats on it, and it's supposed to keep the red in it. So we'll see. And I had enough to make a few hollow forms.
Oh my!
So can y'all see that or not?
Oh yes.
That's really nice.
What tool did you use to hollow that with?
I got several things, a Jameson and a Lacey Olin. I start off with Lacey Olin hollowing outfit. I don't know if you ever heard of her or not, but her husband turned gigantic hollow forms.
Okay.
3 or 4 feet. And if you'll type in Lacey, Lissi Olin on YouTube, there's a video. A New York news company did a video on her, and it's quite amazing. But I met her over at Highland. Pardon?
That's an amazing piece you're holding right there.
Oh well, thank you. But anyway,
it's like a bowling ball.
Well, I guess so. But it's about 10 inches diameter across the middle, about 8 inches high. So
and how thin did you get it?
Pardon?
How thin did you get that one?
Oh, it's about a quarter, 3/16, something like that.
That's awesome. That is
it's pretty light.
That's
impressive.
impressive.
It looks like the way you're handling it. That's man, I've never made anything like that. That thing is cool.
Yeah. But anyway, I hated that all that box elder, bit to dust, but I got some of it. So
good.
So anyway, that's all.
I love box elder. Beautiful wood.
Well, that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Can't say anything.
All right. How about
box elder? Who we got?
How about Scott? Scott, you there?
Scott Hampton?
Scott Tegg.
Oh, Scott Tegg. Okay.
I'm here.
What you got?
We got you.
If I can get it to focus.
There you go. Back by you. Yeah.
Just a little walnut bowl today for the meeting.
I like it shape.
Nice stripe right there.
Nice. Look flashing.
Yep.
Good finish on it.
I'm not happy with the finish. It's gonna get refinished. It's got marks in it. You can't see it on camera, but it's got marks in it. Maybe there you can see it.
Oh, I see some tears. Yes.
It's actually, we're very humid here today, and when I put it on, it didn't want to dry. I couldn't get it to harden up. It's still a little sticky, and it's been that way for a couple hours. So
it'll firm up. You can put it back to work again.
Yep, I got Old Bay shine juice on it, so I'll just take some alcohol to it and refinish it.
All right.
It still looks nice.
Thank you.
We want to see it when you rework it. Now, come on.
Next week. I'm
Give me a
retired
chance
now,
to
so I got all kinds of time to do this.
There
Oh,
you
yeah,
go.
right.
Don't you love that?
Don't believe that retirement.
That
gives you
yeah,
a
that won't last. You'll suddenly have a whole lot more than when you were working.
Yep.
That's the first piece I've turned since I retired, and I've been retired 3 weeks.
You see?
Yep.
Some truth in what we say. Some truth. Not all truth, just some truth. All right, we're doing gallery tonight.
Congratulations,
If you have
Scott, on your
something to
retirement.
show,
Thank you.
pop it up into our chat and we'll get there. Doug Rose in Arizona, first sergeant with us. And what do you have tonight, Sarge?
Okay, let me get this camera turned around. So here's what I worked on this week. This was a piece of black ash that a neighbor gave me, and then he gave me a chunk of oak. So the oak is I haven't made a lot of finials. I didn't really know what I was doing, but whatever. That's what I came up with.
Finial to me.
But it was an odd shaped kind of piece of wood that he gave me. So I decided to make an odd shaped lidded pot. And so, yep, that's what I came up with. My usual CA finish, and then sprayed on lacquer over the CA finish. But I got to show you guys the coolest thing though. So, I get lots of pens to hand out, and I don't mind doing it. But here's what Ron sent me. However he did that, We the People. And look at that.
Nice.
I got a whole box of these pens that I'm not sure how I'm going to figure out how to keep them and convince Ron that I gave them out. But I won't do that.
Well, you won't do that if you talk about it, Doug.
I mean, listen, all of the pens that you all have sent me all range from like really cool to how in the world did you even make that? Like I get so many cool things, and I'm not a pen maker. I've attempted it a couple of times and know that I'm not good at it. But I just love seeing all the pens that you guys send me before I hand them out. So Ron, these things are gorgeous. Thank you for sending those.
Ron's retired Air Force, and this is for the 22 pen project. I'm glad to see some of those pens are coming in.
Sure.
Doug, you mentioned just now you're not a great pen turner. I don't know. Help me, members. Have we ever done a demonstration on pens, soup to nuts? Have we?
I don't think we have.
No,
I don't
think
remember
we missed
one.
it. Pardon?
I don't think we have.
No, I
Probably
think
Ron Radliff should do that. He's got some experience.
I don't know. I thought Captain Eddie was supposed to do one. I sent him a bunch of wood, and I haven't seen him turn anything yet.
Oh, come on, beat me with a stick, why don't you?
I think we could combine a pen demo and a laser demo.
A pen demo with what?
With a laser demo, how he lasered that on there.
Yeah, I was speaking earlier about I turned some pens, no kit pens I call them, and I rigged up a mandrel to where I can put names on them.
Look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I've got I don't have a lot of them left on a desk here, but I mean I've done our club logo on them. I'll turn if I laser them and don't like them. I mean, like any other wood turner, put them back on a mandrel and turn them again. And sometimes they get a little thin, but they're still turning and still fun. You know what, Brenda? We're going to pencil me in for a demonstration on turning pens. We're going to go soup to nuts. We're going to do a kit pen and a kitless pen. We're going to talk about finishing. And before we get done, we'll pop in on a laser and put your name on it. How's that?
Okay.
All right, and we'll put
Thanks,
your
Eddie.
name on it, Brenda.
Appreciate it.
You pencil me in, we'll put your name on it.
All right. Actually, I was thinking about maybe when Dane comes over tomorrow, if we got time, maybe him and I doing a pen demo.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking of was maybe if we were to tape it, then we could play it in one of the future shows, you know, like when we have a cancellation or something.
I'm
Sure.
fine with that. That's like the
Yeah,
tips.
that works. That works great. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Brenda, here's another something that'd be pretty cool that you guys could do when he comes over tomorrow. You jump onto our Worldwide Woodturners Facebook page and turn one live on there, and then it'll stay on the Facebook page forever.
Oh.
Back to, and
Facebook Live I can do in the garage too.
you sure can. And so you can do it two ways. I've done it both ways. I just jump onto Facebook and I do a live video. And I have gone specifically to our Worldwide Woodturners page. And I believe I did it that way once for something. I can't remember what I did. Maybe I was just showing something I'd made. But at any rate, play around with both of those and see which one you like. And then I think most of us on here are on Facebook now and are part of that web page.
Right.
Great idea. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah. Well, we might have to try that. I think he's going to be in here. I think he's planning on being here about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening.
All right. Got time.
So,
All right.
yeah.
We're doing gallery tonight, folks. We still have some folks doing gallery. I do see that Jim Selby out of Jacksonville, Florida. He had some pieces in our gallery tonight. He collects pens for the United States Navy. That's those people with the boats. Remember? All right. His address is now in the chat. So if you support the Navy or someone in the Navy, you can send those pens directly to Jim Selby. But let's go to Dave Kingsley in Lakewood, New York. Dave, what do you have tonight?
Well, first of all, is a walnut crotch bowl. Not very big, but came out okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then a little on the bigger side, another
Bigger one.
Another maple bowl.
What's the
And
finish on it?
It's just oil.
Beautiful.
Nice. And as you can see, I use a laser for my signature.
Yep. The laser and turning come together real nice, don't they?
Yeah, I haven't got it very much further than signatures, but and then I finally got one that I'm happy with.
Never
And
give up.
I put an initial on the bottom for the little guy.
Nice.
And this
Good
one's out of a
job.
much lighter wood. I think it's poplar, but I'm not sure. But the last one I did was real heavy, and he'd kill himself with that. But and I finally got a transition for the handle that I like.
Nice
So-
job. I like
Third time's a charm.
There you go.
You got to keep at it until you get it the way you want it.
That's it. Never
Thank you,
give
Dave.
up.
And that's it for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joaquin, you're up next.
All right. You know, you never know what you're going to be doing as a turner. And I had a lady who wants Christmas trees already. So I'm turning Christmas trees. This happens to be ash and it's dyed green. Haven't really put the finish on it. And this is a live oak.
I like that with the included bark. That's nice.
Yeah, I like that. That looks neat.
Those are neat. Very cool.
And this one would be this is aromatic cedar.
Ooh.
I like that.
What do
There's
you have
about
on
a
the
dozen
picture?
of them already. And so this was a piece of ash. And I put the green dye on it, then sanded it, and then put lacquer on top of it.
That turned out real nice.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But this is a piece I showed y'all about 3 months ago that I turned green and finally got around to finishing it. And it's really has warped bad. And you can see one side's a little closer to the edge of the lip than the other. And it's just cattywampus, you know. But it's
So it added its own character, eh?
yeah. And it's
Beautiful.
so uneven. It's blistered real bad here. And but it's pretty cool.
It's so
Yes,
wild.
it is. Very
Yeah,
nice.
that's real pretty.
So I did a
The detail in it. It's wood. It'll have that detail. Just treat it right.
there's another hollow form I did, and it's egg shaped also. But that's what I wanted. I didn't care what it did.
What's a wood?
It's ash, and it's got black dye sanded, yellow dye sanded, some orange, and then green on top of it. And
That's pretty coloring.
yeah.
That has such a beautiful shine to it that I can actually see you and it in your TV screen.
Yeah.
But it's about 7 coats of lacquer. And
Beautiful.
got Hampshire sheen on it, and then Hampshire shine. And so, yeah, it come out pretty good.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. And that's what I got.
Thank you, Joaquin. Good seeing you, sir.
Thanks.
And beautiful work. And folks, if you've got something to share with us, there's no restrictions. Just show them to us. And if you use a particular product, like somebody said earlier, they got the UV protective spray from Hobby Lobby. I used to get it at the Ace Hardware store by the house, and it does help eliminate the bleed out that colors like amber. Oh, doggone. Well,
The Duke and Purple Heart.
Yeah. Oh, Purple Heart. Purple Heart goes brown if you don't protect it. It just and if you want to bring it up before you do it, when you sand it, bring it to a really high grit and don't waste any time. Once you get it up, you see the purple, seal it. Put that spray on it.
A product on the market that's high in UV protection is marine spar varnish. That'll protect your pieces from the ultraviolet.
Do you have to get that from a shipyard, or is that just a hardware store?
No, you can get it at the hardware.
Okay.
Marine spar varnish.
Woodcraft sells it.
I did it to paint some birdhouses probably 10, 12 years ago. And they're where I can't reach them anymore. They're still in great shape. Don't know. I don't have a hole in them. I have a blanked out area because I don't want to go up there and find a wasp. We're going to clean it out. We're still doing gallery. If you've got something to show, we got about 10 minutes left to pull the plug, and we're going to go to Brent right now. Hey, Brent.
Hey, how you doing? I showed this on Facebook this week, but sorry I show it here too. But this is a hollow vessel that I made. It's a pine burl with a cottonwood base on it here. I did the burl is it's a burl. I did a copper leaf with copper and silver leaf with a patina stuff. I learned kind of a la David Marks kind of stuff here. It's got some voids in it here and live edge kind of stuff going on there. And the base is turned one solid piece of cottonwood. It's got a lot of bug holes in it and such. This was like 10 times harder than the burl was and such. And then I had to cut out all this and carve all this. This took most of the winter to carve this sucker here and such, but that was quite a chore to make this thing and such. But so,
it is gorgeous. I didn't say gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
That was my big winter's project. That was a long project. So
It looks like it was worth the time you put into it too.
So,
Good job.
Yeah, real pretty.
Thank you, Brent. That is some beautiful work, sir.
thank you.
Bob Moffett.
Real nice.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I've got a couple of bows I turned. Am I spotlighted?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay.
There
Okay.
you are.
This is a little piece of maple I turned, and I used Josiah paint on the rim. And this is one that had been sitting around. I hadn't finished, and decided to go ahead and finish it up. And a lot of people don't like to turn oak. I had a little board. I turned it into a bowl, and I dyed it. Let's see if I turn this light off. There. I dyed it green, and I put lime and wax on it. And I like the way the oak shows up the grain like that.
Yeah.
And then the bottom, I just, I left with a natural finish.
Did you do a wax fill in the grain there, Bob?
Yeah, I used lime and wax on it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then sprayed it with lacquer.
Yeah.
And this is a cherry platter that I did. I dyed the rim a dark red. And
But you use a chatter tool on them?
Excuse me?
Chatter tool on the face or spiral?
Texture tool, spiraling tool.
Yeah, good.
And I used a spiraling tool on the base of it. And I really like that spiraling tool.
Yeah, it's got a lot of uses. Very nice, Bob.
Thank you.
Great, Bob. Beautiful work tonight, sir.
Thank you.
All righty. We've got about 5 or 6 minutes to go. If we got a quick detail to share with us tonight. We did get a question on the chat about where to get those inserts. One of our members has listed a couple of sources. It's in our chat, saved chat. But instead, let's jump down to Australia, and where it's, I think, the afternoon or morning or what?
It's still morning.
Hello, Donald.
This is for Brenda. That's done using the standard Niji software on the 3mm.
Nice.
MDF.
Nice work, Donald.
That is awesome.
I sent you a description in the chat, Brenda. But it's just a matter of putting the picture on your desktop and then drag it into the Ninja software.
Okay. Well,
thank you, Donald. Appreciate it.
I wish it worked that
Donald,
easy at
I
my
have a
house.
question for you.
Yeah.
On that picture, you painted it white and then you painted it black and then you burned it?
Nope, it's just straight onto MDF. That's the other side.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you're using MDF though, and I use a lot of it because it's cheap and nasty, make sure it's well ventilated because the smoke put off by MDF is toxic.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Donald.
All right.
Now, going back to what I was talking about, how you can incorporate that into your wood turning. Now, what if you were to make a big, like, cookie platter or something and inlay that right in the center of it? How cool would that be? That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's why I showed it because Brenda wants to do a picture on her own.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah, I've done something similar on a little bit smaller scale. I've done, I'm sorry, are we done with gallery? I didn't want to intrude in there.
Got one more.
All right, go. Yeah. I'll save that for later.
All right, let's
Okay.
do that
Well,
last one in evening. Go ahead, Doug.
Let's go back and see if Joe Cheney's back with us here.
Joe? That
Hey,
might
Joe.
be Joe hiding under the table, you know?
Maybe if we all say Joe at the same time, he'll hear us. 1, 2, 3. Joe!
Hey, Joe.
Joe, where'd you go?
G.I. Joe.
Joe, come back.
Okay, didn't work out.
Well, Matt, go ahead. What did you have to share with us there?
Well, this is something that I've done very similar to what Donald was just talking about, where I did some laser stuff. Let me do share screen here and show it. Share screen. Yeah, you guys have seen this before, but this is like a 2-inch wide medallion, and I cut the design with the laser, and then I filled it with brass powder, fine brass powder, and then use CA glue, thin CA glue to fix it in place, and sanded it off. So the finish is CA glue on this. The inlay is brass powder, and this one here is similar. So it's cut with a laser. You know, you cut it deep enough so that it takes the brass powder. You sift the brass powder in and super glue it in, and then sand it off. And so that's something you can do with a laser as well, wood turned and laser. You see the hole I drilled in here for the cord when it goes in. So
you know, when we were talking earlier about, you know, incorporating the laser into turning and thinking, you know, is it, you know, really related to burn or to turning? It ain't no different than our air guns, you know.
Airbrush.
Yeah, the airbrushes, yes.
Yeah, my club gave this to me also a year or two ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
Nice.
so but that's all done with a laser too. So
Yeah.
from my club. So
Just like the airbrush, though, it just adds to your piece.
it's just another way of embellishing your work. And and I've done a lot of pyrography. I've done a lot of pyrography by hand. You know, I could show pictures of that. You guys have seen all of that. A lot of the Celtic work I've done on wood turnings is done by hand with pyrography. There's no reason you couldn't do it with a laser, especially if you were mass producing things, you know, doing production style turning and things. So absolutely it applies. I mean, it's, you know, maybe it's not for everybody, but it does apply.
To me, it ain't no different. To me, I think the laser and the airbrush, just the same as the grinder that some of you use to make feet on the bottom of your bowls. You know what I'm talking about? The hand grinder, hand sander thing.
Somebody highlight me, and I'm gonna show. I'm showing you something.
There you go, Ronnie. Hold on, we'll get back to you. Now you're up.
There you are.
Yeah.
This is a Dollar Tree cutting board. It costs you $5 for it. This is it's about 12 inches wide and 16 inches high. And I take these and I make them in this size, and I'm making them in 8x6. And that's all you do is reduce everything down to fit it on the board, and you just hit the button again, and it's shooting it, you know. So
that's neat, Ronnie. That's really neat.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so
Ronnie was in line right behind Doug Road, the dollar store.
That's
why
you saying that
the Dollar Tree is becoming my new place, you know.
better than Lowe's.
Those little cutting boards I was just talking about, I bought some online from Amazon, and they were $3.33 a piece. I found the same thing at the Dollar Tree for $1.25.
With the cost of wood, that's a real good deal.
Yeah.
So, and another thing, the coasters that Eddie showed a little while ago, I got 20 of those. No, I got 12 of those for around $20 on Amazon. We found some at Michael's. They were $1 a piece, and they had a coupon, so we got them for 80 cents a piece. So you can't beat that, you know.
That's good bargain shopping right there.
Yeah.
So
beautiful. Love it, Ronnie. Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and as far as the birds and all, you just go on. In fact, the birds, Eddie mentioned a little while ago, the Louisiana hobby guy. Anybody that has a laser, you go onto his site and you have to register. Once you register, you can go into his forum and you can download a whole bunch of artwork and templates and everything else. So anybody that's involved in this, take the time, go to the Louisiana Hobby Guy and follow whatever he tells you to do to download his items. So
Beautiful work.
that's all I have.
One of our sources of detail for tonight. I know we got a little bit off the tangent. Some folks will say, we're wood turners. What about lasers? Billy Dillard came on with us one night, did an impromptu demonstration showing how he was lasering details and stuff on the outside of a piece while it was still mounted on his lathe. He had it on a lathe, hit a chuck, made a little rig to hold his laser, and embroidered it in fleur-de-lis or saint symbols or something like this. It's all something we can add. It's like embellishment, like Brenda said. Airbrush, it's the air grinder, it's your Fordham, it's your NSK. All those items are a little bit beyond wood turning. Wood turning. That's it. It's 9 o'clock, folks, and we normally try to wrap it up and pull the plug at 9 o'clock. If we can do anything else, we would. But it's been 3.5 hours. I'm trying to get to the right picture. There we go. And now I got to say good night, John Boy. If you folks join us again next week, invite a friend with you. If your club is not on a list of clubs, send it, put it in the chat right now. And while you're at it, Donna will remind you in a moment, save the chat.
Amen.
A lot of information in there. Somebody asked about wearing the inserts. We got like 5 different places in our chat about where you can buy those inserts that Johnny Hughes showed tonight. And we're covering it all. If you want to be part of the program, it's your program. Come on, jump in.
Hey, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Are you planning on going to SWAT this year?
My plan is, I'm still working on my transportation, but my plan is to be there.
Cool.
Still trading 6 2x4s for transportation?
I got 6. I'm trying to get up to a dozen. I get a dozen, I got a plane ride. I'm going to get caught going in those houses and stealing the lumber as they're building them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
No matter what you do this week, folks, be safe. That's the important part. All right, I got 1 minute left. Y'all better say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night,
everybody. Good night, everyone.
Good
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
Night, Eddie.
Night, Grandpa.
Donald, tell them, save the chat.
Oh, I thought you'd already told him. Save the chat.
But you have to tell them. It's only credible if it comes from Australia.
Absolutely.
All right. Y'all take care. Be good. I'll see you next week.